UFC 299, Sean O'Malley, Marlon Vera in the main event, and we got Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint-Denis in the co-main event. It is UFC 299. I am Andy. That is Jim. Welcome, everybody. We're going to break down all the fights, give you our bets, predictions, tips, all that fun stuff. We've got a really nice promo code to give out later on in the show. We've got a monster card this weekend. We got 5% plays on Friday night and Saturday. 3 plays that are rated at 4% on Saturday. So a lot going on, Jim. Let's get into it with 299 here. The dreaded OnlyFans theory versus the retirement theory. This is like Godzilla versus King Kong. What theory do we like? Joanne Wood and Maryna Moroz. Man. So you got Joanne Wood doing the retirement thing. She's 16-8. Congratulations. She got the win against Lena Carolina. But before, it's kind of weird. You fight Lauren Murphy, Tyler Santos, Alexa Grasso, and then Luana Carolina. So, what's your take on this fight here? Neither woman super impressive to me, but someone's going to come out victorious. Who you got?
I'm leaning Moroz in this one. I can't go against the retirement. I just can't. We've had 2 in history of fighters that have announced their retirement before the fight, and it's Chris Lytle and Robbie Lawler. And I have questions about that Robbie Lawler one. I have many questions. We'll save that for another video. But look, JoJo's checked out, man. She's checked out. Say what you want about Moroz, but she still wants to be a fighter. She does have other things going on. So we have retirement. We have OnlyFans. We have rematch. If we get a fresh ink theory or a haircut theory, we've covered them all. We've covered them all. I think this fight could play out the same. I think a lot of people are going to be on this fight being an over. You can see that by the line, even though it was finished already in the first matchup, but that was an eternity ago. I just can't put my money on anybody who ever says that they're already retiring. This is a sport where there's no happy endings. There really isn't. More so than a lot of other sports. And when you're not fully committed and you go through that fight week, and you're not there to climb the rankings, to get a good finish, to get a bonus. You're there to say goodbye. And that's just a mentality that you can't get over. It's a different mentality. So I got to go with Moroz. I wouldn't be shocked if she gets the finish. I wouldn't be shocked if she wins a decision. I think if there is a finish, it's probably going to come by submission. I think JoJo will be a little more accepting to giving up her back and losing a wrestling exchange and giving up a bad position. I could see it being by submission. I don't see it by knockout. And that's where I'm going. I got nothing I could say about JoJo Wood to get me in there.
The only thing I could say about JoJo Wood, if we get the same fighter from the last couple fights, she's active, she moves around well. I know she got finished by Tyler Santos and Alexa Grasso, but with all due respect, Moroz is not Tyler Santos or Alexa Grasso. So, I'm with you, though. I can't wrap my head around betting on someone who, like you said, is open, that they're just done. So it's just what are you looking forward to after this fight? It's not fighting again. It's something else completely different. So, yeah, it's just going to be a little bit more of an edge. Moroz is probably going to have just a little bit more on the punches. Maybe she's going to have a little bit more if there's takedown defense. Maybe she's going to have just a little bit more on submission attempts. I probably will not be betting this. The price is just a little bit too steep for my blood. Laying minus 240 on Maryna Moroz, who just lost in the first round on a pretty nice guillotine, and then lost to Maya. I know she won before. That win against Mayra Buenasilva's that's a weird one for Mayra Buenasilva.
Yeah.
That one sticks out like a sore thumb. But I think we both agree that Maryna Moroz is the pick. The line reflects it, though, so I don't know if there's much value in there. But, yeah, the retirement theory is just whenever a fighter announces before the fight that it's retirement. I mean, Tyson Pedro didn't announce it, but he sure fought like it. Okay, I mean, you're like, what is he doing? Oh, yeah, he doesn't have a fight after this. Who is he trying to impress? So, up next, CJ Vergara and Asu Almabaev. I'm guessing this is maybe the most parlayed piece on the card outside of Gamrot.
Oh,
CJ Vergara misses weight. Looks like the fight is still on here. Almabaev, I get it. 18-2. Does get the finish on Odie Osborne. I thought he looked better than I thought he was going to look, and I'm not sure if that's a compliment to him or just Odie Osborne, not a really good performance. Almabaev is the pick, probably going to be with takedowns. Does CJ Vergara, what's his path to victory? Does he have a chance? This is the guy that got wobbled by Daniel Lacerda. So I would find it very, very hard to pull the trigger on this underdog. That being said, not all the big favorites are going to win most of the time. So I guess I'll ask you this and put it to you this way. What's Vergara's path to victory? Does he have one?
I don't see it being by finish. CJ is not a dominant finisher. The only way I could see this happening is very similar to the Lacerda fight, where you could see Asu really going for it in the first round. And if he doesn't manage his cardio and he lets CJ hang around, this fight could be greasy in the third. It could be very greasy in the third. But I really think that the talk about CJ Vergara's toughness is a little bit overrated. I mean, yes, he survived against Lacerda, but he had to survive by literally running away in the cage. And it comes down to Lacerda's bad IQ that he didn't cut him. He chased him, just cut him off around the cage, and that fight is over, and we're not even talking about it. It's a dominant finish for him. So I can't. Like, okay, you beat Vinicius Salvador by decision. Salvador's not some big monster. You know, Taira by submission in round 2. We know how much we love Tatsuro Taira. It's just, this number on Asu is just, it's sketchy.
Steep.
It's sketchy.
Really steep.
Yeah, and I think there's better spots down the card. I think Asu wins. I would say he probably wins a dominant 30-27 decision, or he's going to get the submission at some point. Probably late, maybe round 2. CJ just takes a beating.
It is tough to try and spice up the analysis of this fight because, Vergara's not that great. I guess his cardio, you're right. If Asu somehow gasses himself, you could be looking at, some kind of weird situation in the third. But I'm with you. I'm not really sure that there's a whole lot of offense that Vergara is going to be able to do outside of some flash knockout, some flash. So, Asu Almabaev is the pick. It will be in everyone's parlay. I will tell you, I do not have this in a parlay. This one, there's just a couple on this card that worries me about. I'm just not putting this one in a parlay. If I miss out on it, I miss out on it. But I just feel like there's some landmines waiting to happen. And one of them is in this next fight, in my opinion. Robelis, Despaigne. Is it Despaigne? Despaigne. I'll just call him Robelis.
Let's go with Robelis.
We'll go with Robelis versus Josh Parisian. I have Josh Parisian inside the distance. There's no reason to take a money line in this fight. There's just no reason. Like, this is not going the distance. You're not gonna. Neither one of these guys is gonna win a decision. Robelis is gonna come out and flatline Parisian, or Parisian's gonna take him down and possibly expose that Robelis has absolutely no idea what he's doing. You are on the side of Robelis, correct?
Correct.
All right. What do you like here?
So Robelis is a Taekwondo practitioner. I've had experience in my life competing against Taekwondo guys, and I will say that their explosiveness and their accuracy, their kicking, their in and out movement is unparalleled. But Taekwondo does leave a lot of holes when you're talking about MMA. So I'm very intrigued to see if there's been any improvements made in the sport of MMA. With a Taekwondo practitioner. We've seen a few. Anthony Pettis and Sergio Pettis are both Taekwondo practitioners. Where I worry, and the reason why I'm on Robelis, is you cannot sit there and cover up and not move against a Taekwondo black belt. They are too strong. They kick too hard. They are too accurate. And I haven't seen the head movement from Josh Parisian to do that. I feel like when he blitzes in, Josh is going to cover up, but he's going to stay in the pocket. He's going to stay there. Look, if he has good lateral movement to start this fight, I think you grab a great live line on Josh Parisian. But if it looks like he's going to stand flat-footed in front of a Taekwondo Olympian, that is a recipe for disaster. Absolute disaster. That being said, if Josh gets a takedown, Robles is in trouble. So I agree. Either way, you're taking this fight. Whoever side you're on, you take them by finish. If you want to take an under 2.5, a fight doesn't start round 3. Great parlay piece. If you want to get the line down on something else, but I will say this is going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasts, because we're going to see something wild in the first minute.
Absolutely. So the counter argument to this is he fought a guy in his first fight who's 0-0, hasn't fought again. Second fight, 0-0, hasn't fought again. Third fight, 0-0, hadn't fought again. At least Miles Banks had a fight under his belt. Was not a great fight. And so your Robelis, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 12 seconds. This guy doesn't have the cage time. It just doesn't. And maybe he doesn't need a lot of cage time to get someone like Josh Parisian, because you're right. If he knocks out Parisian, it could be within the first 10 seconds. If Parisian doesn't move the head and just gets torched and sparked in the head, it could be over and I look like an idiot. But if Parisian surprises him right off the bat, and the ref says fight, and Parisian runs right at him and wraps him up and gets a takedown and avoids that early shot, I think we could look at Robelis on the ground and be like, oh my God, he is so lost. And Parisian cannot strike. There's no chance it's a striking battle that Parisian can win. But on the ground, we've seen these guys, these big guys, and this Robelis is a monster. 6'8". But it's like, sometimes you get these big guys off balance, they get on the ground, and we don't know what his cardio is going to look like on the ground. What if Parisian gets him down and kind of just holds him down, and Robelis just exhausts himself trying to get back up? So I'm going a sprinkle on Parisian. He's plus 270. Nah, I'll take the plus 370 inside the distance, because if he wins, it is not going to be a decision win. So we'll go head-to-head on that one. That'll be a lot of fun. Fun here.
This is also a great live betting spot. Like have your books open for this fight, guys. Because I really think you're going to know in the first 30 seconds, if it lasts that long, exactly how this goes. Like, have your lines open, have the bet you want to make. If hopefully it's plus money, the second you see it, click that button.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to know.
Absolutely. Speaking of clicking that button, if you guys could hit the like button for us and leave us a comment. Nice. Tell us what you like. If you think one of our picks is crazy, or if you agree with it, or what your best bet is, leave it in the comments section. I love reading the comments. Love seeing what you guys are on. I know this is an exercise in futility, Jim, but try and keep it positive in the comment section. But it's like you said, one of the worst things you can do is open up a live MMA chat. It's absolutely wild.
But we'll play. Wild. We'll play with you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, let's take a look at Michel Pereira and Michael Oleksiejczuk. For whatever reason, Jim, I don't know. I've had a great read on Oleksiejczuk. I just have. I've nailed all of his fights. I had him losing to Dustin Jacoby. Of course, we had him winning against Sam Alvey and Cody Rundage. Had him easily losing to Kyle Barallo. And even though we got the win against Chitty, man, he got rocked in the first round. This goes down as a win. Make no mistake, Oleksiejczuk was getting hammered and getting wobbled, and I still don't know what happened to Chitty. He just fell apart. He was just like, I only trained for 3.5 minutes, and after that, I'm done. And Oleksiejczuk just weathers a storm, gets on top of Chitty, and it's all over. So for whatever reason, I've had a good read on him. I don't have a great read in this fight, but I think you just have a limited upside is what I see with Oleksiejczuk. I just don't think he can really, really bang with some of the top-notch guys. And I think when we think of Michel Pereira, we think of all the crazy stuff that he used to do. I mean, this is the guy that did a backflip to try and get to mount in the middle of a UFC. This is a guy that would gas out. He's kind of managed it well. He gets the win against Fiallo. That was a fight where you could just tell he was really managing the cardio. He was like, I'm not going to gas myself. He gets a split decision win against Ponzinibbio. That showed he can win, by decision in a really, really close fight. And then he does get the knockout against Petrosky. I lean Pereira in this one. I don't know if I'm going to get to the window on it, but I just think that the limited upside here on Oleksiejczuk is just going to be enough for me to not side with him in this one, and I went back and watching that Chitty fight, man. He was absolutely losing. He was getting really, really rocked. He doesn't have wrestling, so if he does get in trouble on the feet, I think it's going to stay on the feet. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get Pereira down. So if Pereira gets him into hot water, I think it goes south for Oleksiejczuk pretty quick. What's your read on this fight?
Well, I as well have felt really good about Oleksiejczuk. I went into that Chitty fight knowing exactly how I wanted to bet it, and it was to watch the fight and bet it live. And we watched Chitty put a whipping on him, and we saw at that 3-minute mark, we set it on our live show Takedown Live. We go, Chitty's done. That's it.
He was done.
You saw it right there. And Oleksiejczuk came back and ended that fight in impressive fashion. I love Oleksiejczuk's boxing. Now, I like what you just said about Pereira. He's kind of cut out the craziness. Well, we just watched weigh-ins before we started the broadcast here, and sure enough, here he is doing a back handspring and front handspring up to the scale. So what Alex Pereira are we going to get?
Get it out of your system. He's just getting it out of his system, Jim. That's all he's doing.
We'll see.
It's not a fight.
See. We'll take a good look at these walkouts. Let's say that when they're coming out. If we see Pereira wasting a round of energy getting to the ring, you know exactly how I'm betting this fight. I am real interested. Oh, man. I've wanted to bet Oleksiejczuk all week, and there's been something telling me not to do it. And I'm trying to find a reason not to, and I still want to, and I haven't got there. And that's probably enough of my own read to tell me that I need to stay away from this fight. If I haven't done it yet, I'm not going to. I think it could be a very fun fight. This could also be a situation like the Chitty fight that we might be able to get a really good live on. With Michel, remember, he has fantastic body shots. Absolutely fantastic body work. And we have seen Pereira, when he takes punishment, his cardio is different. He's got great cardio if he's on offense. But when he's taken a few shots, that cardio, that confidence starts to wane. So if I see him wasting energy with some flashiness, then I'm seeing Oleksiejczuk hang around, work the body. I'm going to be real interested, round 2, about halfway, where this fight is going to go. So I say keep the money in your pocket until the fight starts. Watch it and see what you got. I can't give a pre-fight read on this fight.
All right. I think I'm probably with you on that one. Yeah, the live line was fantastic on that Chitty fight. You could,
gorgeous.
You could see you got that plus money as you could see him falling apart. So great call on waiting for the live lines to come out on that one. Philipe Lins and Cutelaba. I guess it's a Cutelaba fight going under. So this guy just doesn't really do many decisions out recently. So the loss to Span, Walker, Zachukwu, the Tanner Bozer. I mean, Bozer is bad. It extended Cutelaba's UFC life. So that was good. That was good. That would have been 4 losses in a row, but Bozer's just awful. And then you got Philipe Lins, 17-5. He is coming off of 3 straight wins against Grisham, OSP, and Prachnio. Who do you like in this one, Jim?
I like Cutelaba. I think he's a more diverse fighter than Lins. Cutelaba has the ability to go to the wrestling. Now, both of these guys' IQs leave a lot to be desired. Philipe Lins has no problem, put his back against the cage, throwing low volume, making it a close fight. That shows bad IQ. Cutelaba, we've seen dive into finishes on his own. He's taken himself out of more fights than I feel like he's lost with his IQ. However, he has that wrestling that he can go to. And I believe that if Lins puts his back against the cage, Cutelaba's not going to not go for the wrestling. If he gets him against the cage, he will clinch up with Lins. He will try to drag him down and wear on him. So I actually like Cutelaba. We did get the Green Hulk Cutelaba at weigh-ins.
Yes, we did.
Both these guys seem pretty intense. I think you're right, man. This is an under. This is an under 2.5. This is a fight doesn't go the distance. Parlay it with your best pick. Why take a side? You have 2 fighters that could slip on a banana peel and cost you money. And sometimes we just don't want to lose money, guys. Protect your profits. Protect your bankroll. There's better spots.
I kind of like what I've seen from Lins the last few fights. You know, his style can lead to some pretty boring sequences where they're up against the fence for quite a while. I think he does that to manage his cardio, which is smart to do. These guys aren't flyweights. These are big guys. So I like what he did against Grisham, the OSP. OSP, whatever. He's way over the hill. Pretty good decision win against Pragnio. And when you got a guy like Cutelaba, obviously he's got a lot of finishes. I worry about his cardio. Think this could be a potential nice live betting opportunity as well. If Cutelaba looks great in the first round and he's starting to slow down a little bit, and then all of a sudden Linz is holding him up against the fence. Because with Cutelaba, there's not really a second wind. It's one wind, and then it's just kind of gone. So I'm with you. I would lean the under just because of Cutelaba. I know Linz, his style sets up for some overs, but Cutelaba, man, if he wins, it's probably going to be a pretty good finish early. And if he starts to get tired, I could absolutely see Linz, pulling away and Cutelaba just getting tired, and all of a sudden it's over. So I guess for that reason, for purpose of the video, I'll pick Philipe Linz. I'm certainly not betting it pre-fight, so I'll just watch and see what happens with it. But it's Cutelaba fight. I'm looking at the under, and then potentially Linz if Cutelaba doesn't get the finish in the first round. We see him start to slow down. So Pedro Munhoz and Kyler Phillips. Am I wrong? These guys kind of their style's very, very similar. When I was watching film, they both kind of reminded me like stick and then get out of there. No punch and then kind of get out of there. Not a lot of devastating power, but kind of touching up. I don't know, mid to high volume, I guess. I feel like Kyler Phillips is a little bit lower volume. What's your read on this Pedro Munhoz and Kyler Phillips fight?
You're hitting the nail on the head. I mean, both of these guys are guys that at the end of their fights, we sit there and go, I don't know who won. I mean, has there ever been a super confident win on either side that wasn't a finish? Like when they go to decision, you're always nervous. And it's because they both play to their opponent's level. That's just the way they play. Now, that being said, this is the lowest level that Pedro has fought in a long time. He has been at the top of this division. I'm going to look like a genius or I'm going to look like a fool after this fight because I love Pedro plus 3.5 and minus 145. I love a sprinkle on Pedro at plus 185. I don't see Kyler Phillips winning round 3. So I'm looking at this fight from round 3 backwards because I believe it goes the distance. I don't see Kyler Phillips winning round 3. I could see Pedro Munhoz stealing round 2. I believe Pedro will lose round 1. Round 1, Pedro will lose. Which also leads me to think we have another great live betting spot if we think this is going to be close. I think that Kyler's wider stance is going to make him susceptible to Pedro's leg kicks, and they're going to score. They're going to score, and they're going to do damage. He is a fantastic leg kicker. Both tough as nails. Both don't get knocked out. I don't see a submission. I don't think it ends up being a wrestling match. I think they're very even on the ground, defensively and offensively. And I just have questions about Kyler Phillips' gas tank. I know Pedro can go 3. I know Pedro can go 5. We don't know that about Kyler Phillips. This is an unknown. Biggest step up in his career. I like Pedro as a dog. There's going to be some dogs that come through. Not every favorite can win. We know that. And I am not laying a price on Kyler Phillips ever for the rest of his career. That's my role.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is close for several of the rounds. With these judges, you're just left with, God, who knows? I mean, anytime Buffer starts off with, Judge so-and-so scores it, you're like, oh, God, split decision, here we go. And you never know what the judges are going to do. And I'm with you. I think these guys, they don't get in the pocket and throw a bunch of haymakers. They don't load up for huge shots. There's a kick and then there's movement around. There's a punch and then there's moving around. We watched Pedro get kind of beat up by Vera, but even then he was never completely wobbled or, almost unconscious or anything. He just got pieced up and touched. I think that's what both of these guys are going to try to do to each other. So I love the plus 3.5. I think that's a great way to approach this one. How does he not win at least one of these rounds, these close rounds? It's hard to see Phillips dominating, finishing. I don't know. He's not finishing Pedro Munhoz. I think you can rule that out. I mean, there's not going to be a submission. And I mean, if Vera's not knocking out Munhoz, I don't see Kyler Phillips doing it either. So
I can't see all three judges being 30-27 either way.
Exactly.
Exactly. If they all see this 30-27, this will be the first fight that they all agree upon. And how long? Where?
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right.
We just saw it in PFL. We had a 30-27 one way and 29-28's the other way.
Absolutely.
29-28's win. It just, you never know with these guys. So giving me a little extra there on the plus 3.5, I like.
I think the pick is probably you're getting just great value on Pedro Munhoz. Absolutely, he could. Absolutely, he can do this. And Kyler Phillips, yeah, he's got some cardio issues. He did a good job against Barcelos. I think this fight could look pretty similar to that Barcelos fight. Just cagey veterans, tough to score a lot of big shots, so you end up with a really close scorecard, maybe a split decision. Mateusz Gamrot and Rafael dos Anjos. So I'll go to you for. We both like Gamrot. I think this is kind of the consensus best bet on the pay. I'm at RDA. He just looked so slow in his last fight, and the chain wrestling with Gamrot. This could be a long fight for RDA. So I'm not really sure what RDA's path to victory here is Gamrot. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I don't think he's going to submit him. I'm just not sure how RDA is all that competitive in this fight. What about you?
Well, how does RDA win fights nowadays? He wins fights with control time, up against the fence, dirty, nasty wrestling.
Yeah, he also wins fights against Brian Barbereno.
Exactly.
And Paul Felder. and
not training Paul Felder.
Short note. Yep. Yeah, non-training Paul Felder and Moicano. Yeah, so he's losing against Fiziev and Luque and those guys. So
the Luque fight was really evident. I mean, we went into the Luque fight wondering if Luque was washed. And boy, were we wrong. Boy, everybody was wrong. Because I don't know anybody that was on Luque against him, we were all worried about Luque's health. And Dos Anjos looked slow. He wasn't reacting well to shots anymore. Gamrot is going to put a pace on him. It's not one takedown. It's not the second takedown. It's the third, fourth, fifth takedown and transition. If you want to have a good time, you go watch Mateusz Gamrot and Arman Tsarukyan. What a barn burner of a fight that was. That might be one of my favorite fights. Was that last year, right? 2 years ago now at this point.
Yeah, 2022.
The pace and the wrestling display that these guys put on was amazing. And no slow down, no quit in either guy. I just think at some point he's going to wear on them. Now, the biggest thing that I took away from this fight is we're at 155. It didn't even dawn on me that we were at 155. Dos Anjos hasn't fought at 155 in a while now. If you watched weigh-ins, boy, was he sucked out on the scales. His body looks different. He's older. I mean, we're on Gamrot. I don't know how he wins it. I'm not confident to say either way. What do you think? You think decision, or can he get the finish on an always tough Dos Anjos?
It's probably Gamrot by decision is the way you take the prop. Gamrot's not. He's just not finishing a bunch of guys. I mean, Kimura to Jeremy Stevens and Diego Ferreira, okay. But, yeah, once he gets the step up in competition, obviously he loses to Dariush. He was not going to finish Jalen Turner. And, Fiziev goes down as a leg injury, but that fight was really close. Fiziev won the first round on all the judges' scorecards. Now, I think you saw the writing on the wall that Gamrot was starting to wear him down and that pace was being too much. But Fiziev kicks him, breaks his... hurts his leg. If that doesn't happen, I think it's another Gamrot by decision. He doesn't seem to be searching, for those. His style is just control. I know it can look kind of boring, but it's effective. He's so good at it, and I think it's Gamrot. It's probably Gamrot by decision. I mean, RDA, like you said, he is tough. It's a tough ask to finish RDA, but. Is it tough? Is it going to be tough for Gamrot to just outpace him, slow him down? I don't think so. I think it's Gamrot's probably our most confident parlay piece for the money lines. So Gamrot and RDA. Katlyn, it's Cerminara these days against Maycee Barber. Jim, you have been all aboard the Maycee Barber train. It has won you a lot of money.
It
so
has.
you have the first word here. What do you like here in Maycee Barber?
I'm going to take Maycee. You're going to take Katlyn because I want you to do your you're leading with Katlyn.
Okay. All right.
So I've been on Maycee from the start. And I've been one of the few that doesn't hate Maycee Barber. The amount of money that she's cost people with these split decisions, I will be the first to admit, she got lucky in the Andrew Lee fight. She got lucky in the Miranda Maverick fight, okay? But we all have to come to terms with the fact that what Maycee Barber does is she does the things that the judges like. And don't tell me because she's a pretty young girl. She marches forward. She throws bombs in the women's division. And, you know, Jessica Andrade does the same thing. Nobody ever hated on Jessica Andrade for it, but we got to hate on Maycee Barber for it. She has grown up in this UFC. This girl's still what, 24, right?
25 as of now, but yeah.
25 years old. I mean, she's a baby. She's a baby. She's getting better fight by fight. She's with Uriah Faber, who me and Andy have spoke about that, you know, their fighters are bet-on fighters. We got to start looking at Uriah Faber as one of the better coaches in MMA. They're really coming along. It's a good camp. She's made excellent improvements. She is on a mission. She knows that she needs to have a statement win, and she is hunting for that rematch, okay, for the title. She wants that rematch more than anything. So I don't see her taking the third round off and letting Katlyn jump around and jab her. So I think Maycee gets this done. I'm not willing to plant my flag on inside the distance. Could be a decision. I just think she's going to be too powerful, and she's going to work her way and beat her up. That's it.
Okay, so that's the Maycee Barber side, and I think we both like Maycee Barber. So let's take a look at Katlyn here. Katlyn did say it was okay to call her Chookagian. She told Aaron Bronstetter that was fine, so I'll just refer to her as Katlyn Chookagian. And I will bring up Aaron Bronstetter because he got to interview Katlyn Chookagian. So here is a shocking takeaway from his interview with Katlyn Chookagian. I'm pulling up the exact quote, but we'll first look at the fighting style of Katlyn Chookagian, and it's jabs, it's the noise that she makes, and you know she's got a she gets a split decision against Maryna. She beats Jennifer Maia, gets the decision. You know, Chookagian by decision has been kind of the thing. But here's the thing. She is going to be the much older fighter. She's 35 years old, and she's coming off a loss to Vera. It's not really that big of a deal to lose to Vera because, you know, you're talking about one of the best strikers. But Vera was absolutely faster. It just overall better. And that fight was in 2022. And so we're coming up on almost a year and a half. That is a really, really big break. And I was scrolling through Twitter, and I see that Aaron Bronstetter did an interview with her where she says since her last fight, she tried to get pregnant with IVF twice and had miscarriages twice, and that she is back fighting to help her deal with the sadness that she's endured since her last fight. Holy crap. We like to use a lot of these out of the ring, out of the octagon, what's going on in their personal lives, and we like to fade these fighters that are not all there. Jim, 2 miscarriages, and I'm back into fighting to help me deal with the sadness against a Maycee Barber who is 25, and like you said, yeah, she's young. Of course she's going to have weird fights when you're that young. That fight against Miranda Maverick was back in 2021. She was like 21 years old, 22 years old. Of course you're going to get weird fights. The Robelis thing.
Exactly.
So you're just going to get weird ones. We're seeing it with Michael Morales, that he's getting better the older he gets. So I think she's Maycee Barber's getting in her prime. That last fight against Ribas was absolute violence. We see what Barber could do. And it's this decision by Katlyn Chookagian. But the fact is, the last time she won a decision was 2022 in May. We're coming up on 2 years, the last time you saw her win a decision. I think Maycee Barber's going to walk through those jabs and is going to do some damage. And I have no idea what physical toll Katlyn Chookagian's life has done. I have a friend who went through what Katlyn Chookagian went through, and oh my God, the mental toll is absolutely brutal. I hope she's okay, but this is a betting show, and when we get a fighter that has some pretty rough things happening in their personal life, that is an absolute fade for me. I'm all in on Maycee Barber this week.
That's it. I don't know how you could be focused going into it. At face-offs, you could see a big size difference for Katlyn, and I don't want people to be fooled by that. Could
she's
come
always
into
taller.
Play. She's always taller. But we've seen Katlyn also have trouble with power punchers, and like you said, what kind of fight is going to be in her? You know, we touched on it with the retirement with JoJo Wood. What kind of fight is going to be left in her? If this fight gets grimy, you have to lean Maycee Barber. You just have to. I don't see in round 3 Katlyn saying, I'm down 2-0, I got to go for the knockout. I really wonder if emotionally and physically it can be there. I just went through having a child, and I can't imagine, you know, I wish her the best. Let's start with that.
Absolutely.
Like you said, this is a betting show. So, you know, everybody don't get offended in the comments. We wish her the best, but we're about making money. And when we have these small edges outside of the ring, I think it's time to take advantage of them. We have to.
So, yeah, we like Maycee Barber over Katlyn Chookagian. Curtis Blaydes and Jailton Almeida. Whew, this has kind of become a little bit of a polarizing fight here. I'll let you go first here. Curtis Blaydes, Jailton Almeida. I mean, the odds are basically pick 'em, so just pick the winner. Who do you like in this one?
I liked Blaydes a month ago. I never bet it, and everybody I talked to about it kept telling me I was crazy. So I've been looking into a reason to find out why I'm crazy. And I just have a feeling that at some point, Jailton Almeida is going to get exposed. He is phenomenal on the ground. His striking game leaves so much to be desired. I think we are overlooking it. Nobody's talking about it as much as they should. I'm not talking about ground and pound. I'm talking on the feet. We have no idea what happens if Almeida can't get a fight to the ground. And he's going up against a wrestler in the heavyweight division. Say what you want about Blaydes. Who does Blaydes lose to? Blaydes loses to big-time power punchers, right? We go to Curtis's record, and you look down all these losses, not that there's a lot of them, power puncher. He was going to lose to Aspinall. Let's not make two bones about it, all right? Yeah. Power puncher, okay? Derek Lewis, power puncher. It just go down the line.
Francis Ngannou,
power puncher.
A little bit of a power puncher.
You're not a power puncher. Curtis Blaydes is a tough out. He really is. I'm not going to include Rosenstrike in there as a power puncher, okay? We saw that deathly jab from last week, but...
now we saw about 300 of them.
300 of them, yeah. Plenty of you. So I still have not bet this, full disclosure. But I do lean Blaydes. I have a feeling that this is Almeida comes out kind of hot and heavy, and I think Blaydes can weather the storm. And I think on the feet, believe it or not, Curtis Blaydes is going to be the better striker. We just got to worry about his defense. That's what it comes down to with him. Can he stop the takedown? Can he not get punched in the face with the killer shot? That's it. He wins this fight. What do you think? You like Almeida?
I'm not going to get to the window on it, but I'll take the other side, devil's advocate side, why I like Almeida. Okay. Curtis Blaydes is a wrestler, right? Mm-hmm. When was the last time we saw that wrestling, Jim?
Oh, it's been a while. Good old Alexander Volkov.
It's been a long time because we certainly didn't see it against Pavlovich. Mm-hmm. We didn't have enough time to see it against Aspinall because Aspinall gets hurt. And then he fought Adakis. So there's absolutely no reason to fight Adakis or to wrestle Adakis. Just let him get knocked out. So it's been a while, and certainly that's the narrative in this. And it's like, well, Blaydes the wrestler. It's been years since we saw it. Now, I'm not saying he's forgotten how to wrestle, but it's been a minute. And so if I'm looking at Almeida. First off, you and I were kind of laughing just how he just rotates between weight divisions. Just like, I'll fight.
I don't know how he ever gets to 205. I don't know how he ever got to 205. He's huge.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, he finished Rosenstrike. I can make the case Blaydes took him to decision. This Derek Lewis fight, which was really frustrating, if you had Almeida inside the distance. But I went back and watched it. I wonder if they wanted him to get cage time.
It's a very good point. We've been on those spots. Yeah. Looking back at it now.
Yeah, looking back at it now, going, wait a minute, how could you not fare, Derek? Okay, well, first, Derek Lewis doesn't have a neck and all that, but listen, we talked about it. The big one was the Biagio Ali Walsh fight in the PFL, where it was like, do not finish this guy early. Let's get 3 rounds in because the cage time is really important. So I wonder if that's what they wanted to do, because look at Almeida's fights, like round 1. Round 1, Parker Porter. Round 1, Pleasure Man. Round 2, okay, Schmiel. But round 1, Rosenstrike. So, wonder if that was a case where you're like, you need get on top of him and let's go 3 rounds. Let's get that cardio working. So, I'll take Almeida just because I don't know really what we've seen from Curtis Blaydes that's been all that impressive, and I know he loses to power punchers, but I also don't think that he's really fought anybody kind of like Almeida. Almeida's a different beast. Like, it's going to be on the ground. I don't even think Almeida needs to even try and work on his striking because his ground game is so good. So I'll roll with Almeida. I think it could be a close one on the ground. And I just think that Almeida is going to be, even though he's so big, he is pretty nimble in some of those moves. It's kind of strange. And once he gets on top, Blaydes is going to have to use a lot of energy to try and get out there. So I'll go with Almeida. I can't say I'm betting it, but yeah, I'll lean Almeida in that one. Yan versus Yadong Song. This is a really interesting one. I do find it interesting how juiced it is to go over. I mean, it's just like minus 300. So they're saying, yeah, this one's definitely going over. What's your take on Yang and Peter Yang and Yadong Song here, Jim?
It's a volatile betting wise fight. It's a very, very volatile betting wise fight. It's a Peter Yan fight, and hey, everybody, raise your hand if you lost money on a Peter Yan fight because it went to decision.
It's a great point.
Right?
That's a great point.
So why do we do this to ourselves? It's going to be a fantastic fight. Okay, I don't think there's any way that this is a boring fight. This is one I am really excited to watch. Song Yadong is coming into his own. Peter Yan is the staple. But God, it just, you feel for the guy. I mean, how many?
Really do.
Talk about a change of destiny, a career trajectory.
It's the butterfly effect, man.
Yeah.
This illegal knee, man, changed
the
that
world.
entire division. It really did. It really did. So
there's another universe where Peter Yan is undefeated. It's just out there. The problem that I have with Yan is he refuses to deviate from his game plan and his style. Again, Song is he's a Uriah Faber guy on his way up. That being said, this is undoubtedly his toughest fight. I think that boxing-wise, Song has more power. The more technical boxing is going to come from Yan. I still have to agree with the over, though. So me being on that stance, that means I'm officially priced out of this fight. I'm not willing to lay into these numbers or go anywhere. I could see this being a hairy split decision. I just thinking of this now, maybe a plus 3.5. You think we see a 30-27 either way? I doubt it.
Probably not.
I doubt it, right? So I could see this being a split decision, a really close, entertaining fight. And I'll tell you this, whoever comes out of this fight is right back into the title picture. They're 2 fantastic fighters. I love both these guys. I love watching them. What do you take?
I will not be betting this fight. I think this is kind of one of those I've circled. I just want to watch it. I think this is a really, really entertaining fight. And, yeah, Yan, I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he could have won all of them. So, Yadong Song is another one of these guys, 26, coming into his own. I thought his fight against Ricky Simon was really, really impressive. He was able to fend off the chain wrestling of Simon, and Simon was game for all 5 rounds. He gets the finish late, so he showed good toughness. He showed good cardio. He showed good striking. Corey Sandhagen really took him to school in that fight, but he made it pretty deep in there, and it got cut. It got stopped because of a cut, not because of a bad, he lost a submission or, he didn't get knocked unconscious or anything. And then he gets the win against Chris Gutierrez. So, yeah, the over is probably the way to go. I don't really have an opinion on who's going to win this one. I won't be betting it, so I'm just going to be really, really interested to watch it. And I think my heart wants Jan to win because I just kind of feel bad for him. Like, this is a guy that's just so much better than what his last 5 fights record would indicate. So I'll be rooting for Jan with my heart, but not with my money.
See, I'm rooting a different way. I almost want Jan to lose. And I want him to lose because if he loses 4 and he decides to leave the UFC, we might get the chance to get him in PFL or Bellator.
Oh, he'll run through everybody. He'll be
save your money if that happens. You ever see Peter Yan released? Save your money, everybody. Okay.
That's a good point. Getting closer to the main event, guys. Go ahead and hit the like button and leave us a comment. Tell us what your best bet is. I'll give out a promo code for all of our plays for this week coming up right before the main event. Gilbert Burns and Jack Della Maddalena. Could someone get Gilbert Burns a shirt that fits and isn't wrinkled? What was that at the press conference? Gilbert, listen, we get it. You're casual, but man, wow. So Jack has been the favorite. I was really surprised by it. I guess I still am. I'm not betting on this one. I'll go first here. I just don't think Jack's been exposed for his lack of takedown, or I guess ground game. Mm-hmm. We saw it against Basil Hafez. That was a fight that was way too close, and it was Basil Hafez. And then Kevin Holland, that was another really close one. And Kevin Holland, to me, went full Kevin Holland, where trying to be way too cute in that, and Holland not going after the obvious apparent weakness of the other opponent. So, you go down the list of Jack Maddalena, nobody is doubting his punching. His boxing is elite. So, knocks out Pete Rodriguez, fine. Imev, yeah. Danny Roberts, yeah. Randy Brown, he gets credited with the submission, but he knocked him out. He knocked him out and then jumped on his back. So that's why. And then these 2 split decisions. We just talked about Jan losing. Maddalena got the other end of the stick, where he happens to be on the right side of the split decisions. Is Gilbert Burns the guy that can take him down, wear on him, and avoid the boxing and the striking? Does he have the ability? Yeah, I think he does. Is 37 years old the age of the fighter that I really want to try and test that out? Not really. Yep. He lost. Bilal, did what he did against him, and Bilal's, he's one of the best in the world. So I'm not really sure, that we can really ding him for that one. He dominated Jorge Masvidal. Nice win against Neil Magny. You're obviously not going to, fault him for losing to Chimaev. I think my pick is a sprinkle on Burns. Jack Maddalena is not going to keep skating by with winning these split decisions and not having somebody really test him out on the ground. I just don't think he's going to go undefeated for the rest of his life without somebody going, why isn't somebody taking this guy down and laid on him and beat him up on the ground? I think Gilbert Burns is the guy to do it. I'm going with the underdog, Gilbert Burns, in this fight.
I like the conviction. I like the confidence. I'll be on the other side, though. And it's not because of anything to do with Jack Della Maddalena. It's the fact that Gilbert Burns is 37 years old. He's still in a weight division that's not the weight division he should have been in, just because he can't cut weight and maintain his cardio. I just have questions about his career trajectory. He's a 37 years old that is still talking about the title being the end goal. And I hate that. I hate that at that point. You're not getting the title, Gilbert. Sorry. It's not happening.
You don't know that? Okay, we know that.
You're 37 and you're in the wrong weight class. You're not getting to the top, okay? I don't have a play on this fight. I mean, I can respect everything you said about Burns. I just think it's kind of that feeling where, like, you want to jump off a Jack and maybe he's getting thrown somebody who he can maybe stop inside the distance, and we don't have to worry about that split decision. We haven't seen Gilbert react well to real crisp boxing. Chimaev does not have crisp boxing, and I think Gilbert was able to see a lot of that. When Kamaru knocked him out, it was a crisp, down-the-middle shot, and Jack Della Maddalena is good for those. So I lean Della Maddalena for a pick's sake, but I don't have any money on this fight, no.
All right. Well, I'll roll the dice on that one. So, but man, God, when he showed up in that shirt, I was like, I don't go to Walmart with stuff like that, let alone a UFC press. Come on, Gilbert. All right, Kevin Holland and Michael Page. I will make this short and sweet. Do not bet this fight. It's a Kevin Holland fight. On to the next one. No,
Don't
seriously.
steal my breakdown now. That was my breakdown.
That was your. I mean, come on, Jim.
No, we're not betting this fight.
How can you realistically give advice to people to bet on this fight? How could you possibly know what a Michael Page and Kevin Holland fight is going to look like? You did bring it up there. You're like, oh, like really a Bellator fighter
I know.
coming over on a pay-per-view?
I know.
So, yeah,
This,
what's your take
this
on
fight's
this
gonna feel. It's gonna feel like buyer's regret, or not buyer's regret afterwards. I feel like after this is over, we're gonna say, oh yeah, Bellator champion fighting guys who are 8-5 in the regionals. Like, oh yeah, he lost to Kevin Holland by submission in the first round. Shocker. But I'm still not putting my money on it. You talked me off of this. We brought it up, and it's like it's Kevin Holland. You just don't know what you're going to get. I do think that we're getting the serious Kevin Holland. I think he's fought this style before with Wonderboy, and I don't think he's going to show Michael Page the same respect that he showed Wonderboy and say, I'm not going to grapple. I think if he gets a chance, he's going to choke Michael Page unconscious. Have I put my money on it? No. Michael Page has not fought great wrestlers. He's fought what? The Logan Storleys, the ankle grabbers. He hasn't fought a real submission threat that when he does get taken down, his neck is in danger. And, again, is that Kevin Holland? I don't know. I just don't know. You look at this record of competition here. It's not a shining star.
Man.
It's bad. And you got Kevin Holland just fighting killers on week's notice. Company guy. You call him up, he takes the fight. It's just, man, I could see Kevin Holland making a statement here. God, I could see him making a statement. But watch it and enjoy it, guys. It's going to be nuts.
This is the guy that fought Mike Perry at bare knuckle. Like,
yeah.
It's just, the leg kick yeah, and we don't need to go to that. Just there's no way I'm betting on this fight. All right, Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint-Denis. I am betting on this fight. I am taking the under 2.5 rounds. I think this is a very, very violent fight. I think Saint-Denis has really found his way, his method, like his fighting style. And his fighting style is, I'm going to blitz you and beat you up until I can't stand or you can't stand.
Correct.
And it's just going to result in a really violent style and a really violent fight. So you look at him and, okay, he loses to Zaleski. I believe Zaleski was on the juice in that one. I think
Did he get popped? He might have got popped. But that was also his debut, right?
It was his debut. Okay. And so then takes out Stolza, Gabe Miranda, and just makes short work of Bonfim, Thiago Moises, and Frivola. The Frivola was, really good. I thought what he did to Thiago Moises was the eye.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was just like, holy crap, who is going to beat this guy? So I think just the nature of Saint-Denis is I'm going to push forward and I'm going to just try and take you down and overwhelm you. And if I get tired, I get tired and I'll probably get knocked out. But this guy probably doesn't fear anything. And then you got Dustin Poirier, man. This guy's 35. He has been in some wars. Just a lot of wear and tear on that body, man. That head kick from Gagey was brutal. That war against Chandler, that'll take a year off of your career. I think this guy's been in a lot. And I think, I know it's Charles Oliveira and Justin Gagey. So when I say he's lost 2 out of 3, it's kind of a different 2 out of 3. The fact is, he was almost finished against Michael Chandler. That could be 0-3 right there. That could be an 0-3 skid from Dustin Poirier. And I just wonder if it's kind of the beginning of the end for Dustin Poirier at that level. And I wonder if Saint-Denis is kind of the new next big thing. But if Poirier's going to win, I think it's because he catches Saint-Denis coming in. And maybe we walk away and go, Saint-Denis, not ready. Nope. Dustin Poirier showed the veteran savvy move. But either way, I'm getting almost even money on under 2.5. I do not think it goes very long because I think Saint-Denis, just by his nature, turns us into a brutally violent one. So I'm not going to pick a side, but I am going to take the under 2.5. So we were laughing about the you want to talk about the infection, the staph infection?
Staph infection, yeah. The mark on Saint-Denis' head. And I asked Andy if he was concerned about it. I said, you concerned about it? And he goes, no, this guy's been to war.
He's
paratrooper.
He's probably a Green Beret.
He's been this close to, like, amputating his own toes. I don't think he's worried about a little staph infection.
No.
He convinced me otherwise.
Jumped out of questionable helicopters. So I don't think he's worried about an infection. So what's your take on this one, Jim?
I think it's Saint-Denis early, or there's going to be a moment in this fight, and we talked about it, where Dustin is going to point to him and say, gotcha, figured you out. That moment, because Dustin does it in every fight. And as soon as he figures him out, he's going to finish Saint-Denis. I think both guys, this is just a great fight, isn't it? We've been looking forward to this fight for months.
So fun.
So I've under 2.5, love it. Fight not to go the distance, great parlay piece, playable number. Just play violence and sit back and have a good time. This is going to be a great fight. Great fight.
Yeah, it is. You bring up a good point. If you're taking the under, you could just use the not go the. I don't see how Saint-Denis makes it to 5 rounds. I like that card.
Yeah, the fact that this is a 5-round fight is insane.
It's huge.
It's
insane.
Huge.
So,
yeah.
So, I if I have to pick a side, I guess it's Saint-Denis because I think I'd rather just kind of get ahead of this Dustin Poirier. I think I picked Gagey in the last week. Remember, Poirier was the favorite.
Yeah,
in that one. We liked Gagey.
We did.
Gagey takes him out with a brutal head kick. So, I'm not really sure. I mean, when do you see these guys like Poirier, like loses to Oliveira, almost lost to Chandler, loses to Gagey, and then rips off a bunch of wins at a high level. It just, especially in your mid-30s, it just feels like it's starting to slow down here for Poirier a little bit. So
yeah.
All right, guys, we do have a promo code. Use the promo code Andy25. It gets 25% off of any pack. You could use it on a 3-day, 7-day, 30-day. We're up 17 units so far in 2024. We were up 91 units in 2023, so we're seeing all the sports really good. We have a 5% play in the NBA on Friday and a 5% play in the UFC, along with a 4% play in the UFC on Saturday. We've also got NHL, NBA, as well as lacrosse plays, which have been really good. So just take advantage of that at wagertalk.com. No better time to take advantage than this weekend. We have a lot of high-rated plays, which is very, very rare for us. I have not had a 5% NBA play this entire season. So that goes off on Friday night. Encourage everyone to take advantage of that. Use the promo code Andy25. Don't miss out on any more profits, guys. Seriously. We've hit our last 2 5% UFC plays. Make sure you're on board with those. We're off to a great start this year. Looking forward to more profits. All right, Jim, main event. Got to be honest, I'm looking more forward to the Poirier and Saint-Denis fight than I am this one. This just doesn't have my. This doesn't. I don't know. Are you excited for this fight? Like, is this like, oh, I can't wait to watch the O'Malley Cheeto Vera fight? I don't know. To me, Vera looked like a hostage at weigh-ins. He just, I don't know what it is about Vera. He doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't resonate with me, and honestly, neither does O'Malley. I've been dead wrong on O'Malley for most of the career, but I did pick him to knock out Sterling. I thought Sterling had been skating by this hair on his chin, and was ready. I've been wrong about O'Malley before, but there's nothing you can say. The guy's the champ. Like you said, his athleticism and movement has been really, really underrated. There's no doubting his power. Then you got Vera that's coming off of, I mean, I don't know. What has this guy done that is like...
Blah.
Yeah. He went to decision against Pedro
It's
Munhoz.
blah. It's
Before
all
that,
blah.
Corey Sandhagen, Dominic Cruz. There's a decision against Rob Font in there. I don't get it with Vera. And I always tell you this. One of my favorite things was when O'Malley in the ring said, asked the crowd, did Vera fight tonight? Was it boring? And it was like, yep, it was. It was a very boring fight against Pedro Munhoz, Sean.
Yeah.
It was, to answer your question. So, I don't know. I will just tell you, I think the value's on the underdog. I don't like the price on O'Malley. Yeah. I think 5 rounds. I'm not really sure O'Malley wins 3 rounds because I think there's going to be really, really close rounds where if O'Malley doesn't get the huge shot, Vera just kind of points him and there's leg kicks and there's jabs and everything. So I'm not going to bet on this one, but if you made me bet, I would say the value is absolutely on the dog, especially because the last 4 main events have had the underdog winning. So we're on a run of that. So what do you make of this fight, Marlon Vera and Sean O'Malley?
Well, I've rode O'Malley all the way to the title.
You have.
He was a fighter that I said I'm going to bet him until he loses. Then he lost to Cheeto. Well, according to him, he didn't lose to Cheeto. But I still rode him. Look, there was ways to bet O'Malley at good numbers. And I know say, oh, you're on O'Malley. Good for you. Minus 800. No, there's ways to bet these O'Malley fights, okay? There's time props. There's things like that. Just saying you're on a fighter doesn't mean you have to bet the money line. If you know how they fight, that's how you bet, okay? You know how they fight. We were on him against Sterling. We liked it really early. I couldn't believe that we were both agreed on that one, and that was it. We played it. We were firing on that one. I just don't see how Cheeto has gotten any. Cheeto's still the same fighter. He's the same fighter as they fought.
It hasn't evolved.
Not a thing. O'Malley has gotten so much better. His ground game is better. His confidence is better. There's a difference between the exterior confidence that he shows and the in-ring confidence. His confidence in that Peter Yan fight grew leaps and bounds, and I don't think people talked about that enough leading up to the Sterling matchup. What he went through in that Yan fight proved to him that he could be the best in the world. And as a fighter and as a competitor, when you are going for a championship, you're going for it all, and you know you can win. It may be 6 out of 10, it may be 7 out of 10, but you know you can win. That changes your confidence. And I think we saw that with Sean. Their camp is very smart. I think they're going to come with this fight with a different strategy to counteract Cheeto's plotting forward style. I think it's O'Malley. I think it's O'Malley by finish. Like you said before, you don't not get knocked out forever. I know Cheeto's never been finished. But, man, he looked like hell at weigh-ins. God, this just feels... And honestly, is this the fight that should be happening, folks? Who should be fighting O'Malley? It should be Merab. It should have been Merab already. He didn't have to fight Cejudo. Okay? As soon as Sterling lost, it should have been Merab. This is not, to me, a real title fight. This is not the number 1 contender. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you're not going to give me the number 1 contender, I'm going to side with the champion.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the whole Vera thing, and you had said, you brought this up, and they're now, it's not even little rumors. It was just that the camp had not gone well for Vera. He hasn't looked good this week, and we noticed that there was something odd about this line. Like, why is he this big of an underdog? Like, supposedly the number 1 contender, why guy that
Makes
has won all these fights. There's something fishy about the line, and it hasn't moved. Buddy's come in on O'Malley. I haven't seen anything from Vera this week that I like. He just looks, I don't know. I'm not trying to say, well, I can figure this out just because of how he looked at the weigh-in, but it didn't look right. There was just something. It just looked, like I said, he looked like a hostage.
Yeah.
Like, blink if you're in trouble. Do you need help, Marlon? So, blink in Morse code about help me. So the value is in the underdog in these pay-per-view main events. It always has been, but I'm certainly not recommending betting Cheeto. So I default to you.
Full disclosure, we have no bets in this fight. Okay, guys?
No, we do this video but we do a bet that way. Someone can leave a comment like you guys are idiots about this in the main event, and then we respond, and it helps feed the algorithm. rinse and repeat. So that's why we give out picks on this one. So
I think it's Sean by submission. Go ahead. Get it.
let's do a quick recap here. Joanne Wood, Maryna Moroz. We've got Maryna Moroz who just started her OnlyFans. So we have the OnlyFans theory. But Joanne Wood has announced retirement. So we're fading Joanne Wood in a retirement fight. CJ Vergara and Almabaev. We like Almabaev. We're going head-to-head on this one. Jim likes Robelis by finish. I like Parisian by finish. And there is no doubt that one of us is going to look foolish after this fight. Like, absolutely foolish. There's no well, it's a decent play. No, one of us is going to look like a moron. Michel Pereira, Michael Oleksiejczuk. I lean ever so slightly with Pereira. Did you lean Pereira in this one? Or you just kind of staying away?
I want to bet Oleksiejczuk, but I just kind of staying away. Haven't done anything with it yet.
Philipe Lins and Cutelaba. I think we think this might be a fantastic live bet opportunity. If Cutelaba comes out fast and then doesn't get to finish and starts to slow down, you can take Lins on the live line and probably get pretty good plus money. Pedro Munhoz, Kyler Phillips. I think with values on Pedro Munhoz because it's going to be close. I love your take on the plus 3.5. If you have a book that offers the point spread, take the Pedro Munhoz plus 3.5. Hard to see Kyler Phillips running away with this fight. Gamrot, RDA, Gamrot all day. Maycee, Barber, Katlyn, Chookagian. So we thought this fight would be pretty close, but after hearing what Katlyn's struggles outside of the ring and what she's gone through, we like Maycee, Barber all day. Curtis Blaydes and Jailton Almeida. No strong opinion. Excited to watch this one. I made the counter argument to Jailton Almeida. Jim gave you the case for Curtis Blaydes. Jan and Song. I don't think many bets in this one.
No.
Should be a pretty fun one to watch. Gilbert Burns and Jack Maddalena. You're on Maddalena. I could see Burns winning this one in a close one if he gets Maddalena down. Holland and Page. No opinion. Poirier and Saint-Denis. I think we like Saint-Denis, but I think we like the unders on this one. I'm really stunned at the price on the unders on that one. Yeah. I really, truly couldn't believe it. I was like, it's even money at under 2.5 in a Benoit Saint-Denis fight? So
crazy.
I'll take that one. And then O'Malley and Vera. I guess we're going with Sean O'Malley, but there's certainly no way we're betting money on that one. So here we go again with there are other fights that I'm so much more interested in. Could I make the case I'm more interested in that stupid Kevin Holland Michael Page fight than the Sean O'Malley Marlon Vera?
Yeah.
Like as far as man, I kind of want to watch that one. I'm actually a little bit more because just the circus entertainment factor. I could walk away going, "Did you see that Kevin Holland fight? What the hell was going on?"
It's going to be a circus. It'll be a circus.
It always is with Kevin Holland. So, all right, guys, good luck at all your bets. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave us a comment. Tell us what your best bet is. Good luck on all your plays, and we will see everyone on next week's UFC breakdown video.
Take care, guys.